Hi everyone, I wanted to talk to you about Johnny Depp's Lilith and Scorpio conjunct Neptune. And I wanted to say that Lilith and Scorpio is one of the most dynamic experiences to have with Lilith because it goes through these incredible feelings of euphoria into these contrasting lows, emotional lows. And Neptune being there really creates a preservation energy. But let's say that you're in one of the stages of Lilith, right? So a Neptune going into any of the levels of Lilith would preserve her. So let's say that you're at the victimized state of Lilith, then Neptune will help to preserve and protect. If you're in the lower state, which is the more superior state of Lilith, then Neptune will keep you in that state, because it's a preservation energy. And then if you're in the higher states, well, that's when you are also still preserved. So the thing about Johnny Depp's Neptune there can create this illusion that the preservation is enough. Okay, so if you are doing your best work, then that illusion almost can serve, right? But if you're in your not so best work, then that illusion can still maintain, right? So let's say if you are sovereign to hurt someone in any capacity, right? You can be sovereign. You're sovereign in your most freest state to do that. And Neptune creates that sovereignty, but also that illusion, right? It creates that distance from being human. It creates this fogginess. And when we use Neptune well, you create celebrities, superstars. You create heaven. But sometimes when we use Neptune and we're kind of lost in our own hurt to hurt other people, then we can create this illusion that we are completely, like everyone is innocent. So it's not like you're not innocent, but you aren't accountable for how you affect other people. And that happens sometimes when we see Neptune energy. So what I want to say about this is that if everything works out in his favor, then Lilith and Scorpio is going to transcend him into helping others who have been in hurtful situations and abusive situations. Lilith and Scorpio will help him rise to the higher octanes of that with the help of Neptune. Now, through his own darker energy, right, Lilith and Scorpio could also do something else. Now, Lilith and Scorpio quite often Scorpio itself is more dominant. Being in the dominant position puts you almost in the shades of, like if you look at the seven sins, it puts you more in the shades of lust, which is a more dominant position in the shadows, because these are the people who become more predators in that more dominant position. And the issue or the glamorous life of Neptune over a predator can really be molded here. And so this is questionable things, because I'm not really putting any pinpoints, but helping you understand Lilith and how to harness this energy. Lilith in Scorpio provides perseverance to go after one's pleasures and manipulate 3D reality to gain their pleasures. Okay, and so this can create, like I said, sometimes a more predatorial energy. Okay, like think about a pimp smack, or think about people who run, big criminalized businesses, things like that. Now, because of the way that Scorpio lays itself after Libra, Scorpio quite often is, and Scorpio and Libra, right? They both signify courtroom. With Scorpio being at the victimized level as a Lilith in Scorpio, quite often is feeling outcasted from justice, outcasted from the people who have hurt them. So that's a big thing here that is possible. And the initial time that he was accused of hurting her, that this also is significant of the victimized level of Lilith and Scorpio, of being someone who is receiving some sort of negativity. That's the victimized level. So with Johnny Depp, there is a need to transcend beyond darkness, to transcend beyond vengefulness and revenge in order to reach the higher octanes of Lilith and Scorpio. Quite often the people who have this have to recognize the error in their ways. And quite often when you're in this realm towards the end of the zodiac, these are more dominant zodiac signs in the 3D realm because of their ability to go beyond limitations in our regular sheep-like everyday society. And so when you get to Scorpio, this is going beyond the limitations of criminality. It goes beyond being the bad guy. This is where the bad guy can uplift an entire realm of people by being an example of showing where they were at fault. Okay, the bad guy can also be a staple of someone who creates a negative energy that feels justified in its own victimization. So this is not me judging or choosing sides. It's about the Lilith positions, because Lilith is where we transcend our own darkness. And you'll see here that in Scorpio, to transcend your Lilith in Scorpio means to recognize that any judgment from the court, right, because that's Libra behind you, has some sort of justification. So when we take into account his court situations in both from the past and now, the key for Lilith and Scorpio is to recognize how they brought this on themselves, because a dominant predator who acts like a victim is quite often creating so much more chaos in themselves, right? Because there's something that's not genuine and honest there. So both of the court cases provide you a chance to see how Lilith and Scorpio, in both contrasting situations, must gather the weight of how they brought this on themselves. Please also watch my video on Lilith and Scorpio if you have this natally. But please understand that this energy, honestly, for me as an astrologer, it's really hard for me to not be biased knowing the astrology. And maybe that's just because I'm human. But I think that there's something really interesting about Lilith and Scorpio victimizing themselves, because quite often they have the strongest, darkest, and sometimes the most lethal hands at bay. And so you will find that people who transcend their Lilith and Scorpio, they show up wanting to destroy the harm done to all, right? The dominance is so psychological that they really start to go there when they've transcended, because at least to me personally, being in my own biased opinion, it feels better when Lilith and Scorpio is attacking, because it has to destroy something. So when it's attacking the thing that got them in that space in the first place, that's when it really transcends, in my opinion, to its higher octanes. So this is more about describing to you how Lilith and Scorpio can show itself, and how not to try to choose too much sides, but see how Lilith's dark energy is working out, and really understanding how this happens. Now, quite often people say in a man's chart that Lilith is evoked by the other woman. So that is something to consider, and I do have a video on that, but never leave out the fact that Lilith works in a man as it does in any other, in a woman or any other gender. Like, Lilith in Scorpio is here to handle her karmic pasts of being a part of the darker side of things. And that's something to really, really grasp as a Lilith in Scorpio, if you do have it.